Is it 2022 everywhere? 168 of the world's 195 nations use the Gregorian calendar in an unmodified form. In other words, if you asked anyone on the street what year it was, you're almost certain to get the answer 2022. If you're watching this video in 2022, that is. Though you may think it unpopular to signpost the year today back to the birth of Christ, many non-Christian countries have done so willingly to keep up with an ever-globalized world, China and Turkey among them. However, the remaining 27 nations have differing and fascinating reasons for wanting to maintain different calendars to the one the rest of the world uses. Today we will be going through some of our top picks. Hijri calendar. The current year there, 1444. The Islamic Hijri calendar dates back to Gregorian year 622 AD. In this year, the Prophet Muhammad led Muslims from persecution in Mecca to safety in the city of Yathrib, later becoming known as Medina. In the early days of Islam, the Muslims, similar to ancient Rome, simply didn't care for the numbering system when it came to years. Instead, they opted for naming the years. For example, 570 AD being the year of the elephant, or 622 AD being the year of the Hijra. The second Rashidun Caliph, after the Prophet Muhammad's death, formally adopted the numbering of years during his reign in the year 639 AD. This means the very first year Muslims knew what year it was, according to the Hijri calendar, was the year 17. This calendar is 10 days shorter than the solar year, as it is a lunar calendar. As such, the calendar drifts relative to each Gregorian year, which is why you may have noticed Ramadan happening slightly earlier annually. Though festivities will kick off in March next year, in 2030 Ramadan and Christmas will kick off on the same day. From the 4 red countries on this map, it therefore shouldn't surprise you that Afghanistan and Iran opt to use this calendar as opposed to its Gregorian counterpart. Ethiopian calendar. Current year, 2015. The current Ethiopian year is 2015. It may seem highly coincidental that they have a calendar almost the exact same age as ours, dating back to the birth of Christ. But of course, coincidence it is not. The new year starts on September 11th. There are 13 months, with the final day of the month having only 5 days, with 6 on a leap year. However, the differences end there. It is 365 days long, and its epoch too dates back to the birth of Christ, merely from different calculations, generating a different result. Though 2022 is accepted by Protestants and Eastern Orthodox churches, it was originally a Catholic monk, Dionysius Exiguus, who, in following a request from the Pope in the year 525 to resolve a dispute about the correct date of Easter between the East and the West of the Empire, created the Anno Domini system and calculated the birth of Jesus to have taken place 525 years prior to when the Pope had made his request. Religious scholars broadly agree that this was a miscalculation and actually placed this event around 6 BC to 2 BC. Whilst the Protestants and Eastern Orthodox churches generally fell in line with this monk's suggestion, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tawahedo Church stuck to their guns from calculations made from Anihias of Alexandria around the year 400 AD. This means by the time Exiguus was calculating, the Ethiopians already believed that they had the correct answer in the bag for over a century prior, meaning there didn't seem to be much reason to change. It's also worth noting that Ethiopia, together with Liberia, was one of the only 2 nations not to come under European colonialism during the scramble for Africa in the 19th century, which presumably would have played a role in Ethiopia maintaining their unique calendar. Nepal. Vikram Sambat and Nepal Sambat. Current year, 2079 and 1143. Nepal is the last nation on our map to not use the Gregorian calendar at all, and it fascinatingly dates its epoch to only 56 years ahead of ours. A year that Julius Caesar was conquering modern-day France and where Cleopatra's elder sister died, preluding her rise to power. Halfway across the globe, a completely different epoch was brewing. The legendary king Vikramaditya of Ujjain ruled over swaths of the Indian subcontinent and is ubiquitous in several Indian stories, amongst them being him capturing the spirit of the celestial being Betal. The epoch of this calendar dates back to when he defeated the Shakas, Iranic nomads who had been encroaching on Indian territory on their western border. So why is an Indian king who defended India from Iranic peoples celebrated so highly in Nepal? Well, the victory wasn't seen as only an Indian victory, but also as a victory for Hinduism. Nepal makes up one of only two Hindu majority nations on Earth, and as such, this victory plays a key role in Nepali national identity. Its early beginnings being the current year in Nepal is 2079. However, this isn't the only calendar used in the nation of Nepal. The Nepal Sambat, based on the Bikram Sambat, a widely used Hindu traditional calendar, dates its epoch to 879 AD, where the merchant Shakandra Shakawa paid the debts of all the Nepali people. This calendar fell out of favour all the way up until 2011, where lobbying by cultural groups led to its eventual simultaneous adoption in the nation. As such, it isn't uncommon to see both dates appear in various media outlets throughout the country. Honourable mentions. Japan. Though these four are the most far removed from the Gregorian era, there are some honourable mentions that use modified versions of it and are unique in their own way. In Japan, the current year is 4, as Japan dates the epoch back to the first year of the reign of their current emperor. Following the abdication of Emperor Akihito and the coronation of Emperor Naruhito in 2019, this means Japan has the youngest epoch of any calendar in the world. North Korea. The North Koreans have a somewhat similar philosophy, though it's dated back to the year of the birth of the first supreme leader of North Korea, Kim Il-sung, in 1912. This makes the North Korean current year 111, though fascinatingly, it wasn't adopted until 1997, making it one of the youngest calendars in the world. Israel. Though Jesus isn't exactly a large part of Judaism, the average non-religious Israeli will probably agree that the current year is 2022. However, Israel uses two calendars simultaneously as a testament to the nation's Jewish identity. This is of course the Hebrew calendar, in which the current year is 5783. The epoch of this calendar couldn't be simpler. It is the year that the Jews believe that the world began. Though some may disagree with the authenticity of this belief, the major interest in the Jewish calendar doesn't stem from its beginning, but rather its end. The Jewish year 6000, i.e. the 29th of September 2239, marks the latest possible time for the initiation of the Messianic age. Though Jews don't believe in Jesus as the Messiah, they do believe in a Messiah, which makes such a day of keen interest to both Jews and Christians. That means you and I are probably going to miss out on the second coming of Christ by a mere 200 years, and I think you'll agree that sucks. I hope you enjoyed hearing about other calendars of the world and this mini-series on our channel. As always, thanks for watching, and if you did enjoy it, please feel free to like and subscribe. See you soon.